To the Fitchburg Airport Commission meeting. Today's October 16th, and it's 6:02. We're going to start off by introducing myself. I'm Commissioner Rich Liberatore, and I'm filling in for our chairperson, Clayton Raymond, who can't be here tonight. I'm going to introduce the commissioners who are here. To my far left is Paul Hathaway. Paul, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Rick.
Next to Paul is Eric DeCall. Thank you, Eric. To my right, probably the most influential person on at the airport, our airport manager, Peter Kettle. Nothing would ever happen without Peter's positive attitude and energy. Thank you, Peter. Also in attendance from Gale Associates is Jackie Marks. Jackie, thank you for coming. We haven't seen you for a while. Welcome back. Tonight, the meeting is being videotaped by our friends at FATV, and if anyone else is videotaping or recording, notify the chair, and no one is, so we're good. All right, we're going to start off the meeting with the minutes. Everyone got a copy, had a chance to review them. A motion to accept?
Motion to accept.
A second on the motion?
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3-4, thank you. We're going to start off with correspondence to the commission. Peter, we had a correspondence, I believe.
We did, but don't you want to go over the action items from the previous minutes?
Okay. So that will be taken up in the agenda.
They are all covered in the agenda, yes.
Okay. Great. All right, we're going to move to Gale Associates, and Jackie's going to bring us up to date on what's going on at the airport.
Thank you very much. For the record, Jacqueline Marks with Gale Associates. So all of you should have a copy of the Gale Associates October update in front of you, and I'll just run through the projects. Nothing too earth-shattering going on, but the environmental assessment and wildlife hazard assessment, as you all remember or may remember from previous meetings, the environmental assessment portion of this project is complete, so just waiting on the wildlife hazard assessment to be completed. So we did receive confirmation from FAA and Mass DOT that the wildlife hazard site visit report was acceptable, and that then allowed the airport, qualified airport wildlife biologists to move into the wildlife hazard management plan phase of the project. The plan will basically be a list of action items that the airport should take, how they can achieve those things, who's responsible, et cetera, for those different components to basically mitigate the known wildlife issues around the airport. Gale Associates did receive a pre-draft copy of that wildlife hazard management plan last week from New Earth Ecological. So we went through internally just to make sure that, you know, everything looked good, sent our comments back to the wildlife biologist today, and so we expect a pretty quick turnaround on that, and should receive the draft. I would expect that by next week. And then, so that will then go to the airport for review. Peter, I know there will be some questions for you just with respect to procedures around the airport and who should be responsible for what, and you know, different things like that. Airport input is certainly encouraged as part of these processes. We want to make sure that the plan is achievable for all of you. And so, you know, make sure that that's realistic. So that should be coming at some point next week, Peter, and I'll be in touch with you, you know, as soon as we receive that to go over any sort of, you know, questions that Stacy Grove has, and, you know, make sure we're getting that completed. Once that is finalized, the environmental assessment wildlife hazard project can be closed out, hoping that that can be all wrapped up before the end of this year, and then, you know, the airport can move on to other things. Questions, comments, concerns about project number one?
One thing that kept coming up through the course of the last couple of years. Peter, we had the deer issue coming up. Did the environmental people notice anything or make a comment regarding the deer that are able to roam into the airport grounds?
Yes, there are many recommendations that will be made with respect to the deer in that management plan. Certainly, was a highlight of the wildlife hazard site visit report. I can get a copy of that to all of you and get the final version. Potentially, if you'd like to be included on the airport's website, I can do that. I believe that would be the decision of the commission to do that.
I was curious if they ever, as they were taking their assessment, if the deer had ever popped around. Definitely, Peter has it documented of issues where pilots are actually coming in for a landing and, got our little buddies running across the...
Yeah, they were certainly seen quite a bit, and were I believe, as far as the ranking is concerned, they were listed as basically the #1 threat on the airport. So many recommendations in that management plan.
Right.
Yep. And I'll get a copy of that to all of you so that you have it.
Can I just explain? That falls in line with the CIP plan that we have, the capital improvement plan for the 10-foot high fence.
Yeah.
Which will stop the majority of that. There's 2 areas on the airport that cannot be fenced. One's at the end of 3-2 where the river is, and we've got all rip-rap down there.
Yeah.
And the other's at the other end, at the 1-4 end. So, we've got permits to actually cull the deer now. So that's the way that we're going to treat it. Once the fence is up, it's all there, and we'll have people ready to come in and do what's necessary.
Okay.
So, okay.
Understandable.
Any other questions?
Sorry, Jackie.
No problem, Peter. I appreciate the input. Questions, concerns? Okay, I'll move on then. Page 2 of 3, project number 2, design permitting for main apron reconstruction. So not much of an update today, but the preliminary design of the apron has begun. I know, Peter, you've been involved with that process, probably a bit more than I myself have. I'm on the planning side, so not directly involved with engineering, but if anyone has any questions for engineering, I can certainly bring those back to the office.
Yeah, can I make a comment?
Of course you can.
I believe the person responsible for that is Mark Ottenario.
That is correct.
He's doing that. I had a meeting with Mark, and basically I've requested that they remove the bottom end of the ramp where all the single tie downs are, because we don't use it. We've got approximately 60 tie downs in the centre, so we're going to save the FAA and ourselves money by not paving that far. They were going to cut it off just at the front of the unnamed taxiway that runs down to your hangar, Paul, and my suggestion was to what we're going to save here in terms of the hot top, we redo the heliport, and that would cut straight across to where the new self-serve is, and all that will be nice and new, joining straight into the ramp onto Echo, straight back to Alpha. And they are putting that in the plan.
Good.
Okay?
So are you thinking there's going to be less tie-downs, more interest in people using hangar space than using a tie-down?
Without a doubt.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
All right, so that,
Yeah, the aircraft that are on those tie-downs tend to languish. It is.
They do.
It's a mixed bag of some in current use from the flight school, but there are many that are just woefully unloved.
so that's something that's obsolete now,
No.
tie-down.
No, if you have a fly-in or a special event, you're going to want that space.
Yeah.
And tie-downs are still, once these improvements are made to the airport, the tie-downs will become more important. They're not that important now, but as the work that particularly Peter's been doing, as the airport grows by leaps and bounds into a more desirable location. For instance, when we get a restaurant, you're going to want to have.
Oh, absolutely.
tie-downs.
Absolutely. But, there's still going to be 64 there, which is a lot.
Which is a lot, but it's one step before that.
No, absolutely.
Correct.
What's there now?
Sorry?
How many tie-downs now do we have?
There's just under 90.
Oh, okay.
87, I think,
I
in the last
understand.
count.
I believe so. I don't remember off the top of my head, but in the master plan, we did an evaluation of the current tie-down needs. I know those things change, quite a bit and fluctuate from year to year. But if I'm remembering correctly, I believe there was a surplus of, I think it was 16 or 18, Peter, something around there. I'd have to look it up, but,
Which is virtually
but it
the ones
was,
that run
yeah,
down the back.
yep. So the removal of those extra spaces were certainly accounted for in the master plan as well.
There wouldn't be any advantage to reducing a row is a great idea, but shifting the 2 rows towards the outfield and having more room for larger aircraft on the ramp as the airport grows? Is there any advantage to that as a concept?
I guess long-term, there is. But in all honesty, I believe for the next 10 to 20 years, that's not going to be the case.
You've got plenty of room.
We've got plenty of room. Even when we had the Global 7500 in with a 106-foot wingspan, I put him right at the far end near Hangar 1, and there was still ample space.
Tons of room.
And you'll also notice, Paul, that I've moved all the bad ones all the way down to the end, and we've got a nice clean area right in front of the administration building.
Nice.
So one of the other things that I'm requesting, sorry, Jackie, going on a bit, is that they put in electric connections
That'll be huge.
on that side down here, so in the winter people can come in, tie the plane down, plug it in, keep the oil warm, start it up the next day and just leave.
Perfect.
So,
That is a massive improvement. I mean, that makes external tie downs. If you have the right covers and an electrical socket
Right.
for a preheater, that makes
yeah,
it feasible. Yeah, that's great.
thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, concerns on the apron? Okay. Moving on, project number 3, the groove and seal. So that work was completed over the summer, and the closeout report has been sent, it says here, to the Airport Commission for review and signature. Peter, were you included on that? I can make sure that you get a copy of that closeout.
I don't think I was. I don't recall.
Okay, let me check in with Mark and see where that was sent.
Okay, thank you.
Did anyone else on the commission receive that? Because I did not.
No.
No.
I believe it would have just gone to the signatory. Typically,
great.
yeah, typically closeout and financial documents go to the signatory party, which would usually be Rich Raymond. I'm not certain of his availability, to sign things. I know, Peter, were you signing some things in
I
his
can sign
absence?
on his behalf.
Okay, I'll check in on that and see where.
Great, thank you, Jay.
Where that is. Yeah, you're welcome, of course. But that project is complete. Hopefully, any concerns with that project, any issues that we should be aware of? Does everything seem like it's in good working order, Peter? Anything?
It's amazing, thank
It's a
you.
very nice runway.
Good.
It really is.
Okay, glad to hear it.
It always gets Paul flying back, so that's good.
I'll be using it tomorrow morning.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so I'll just move on to the last item here. Well, I guess there are a couple items on page 3. The design and installation of the wildlife fencing. So on October 10th, a scoping meeting was held for that project. That is for, as Peter alluded to, 10-foot chain link fencing with barbed wire, and there's also a 4 to 5 foot, basically like underground burrowing deterrent for some of those other smaller mammals that were, found to be on the airport. So they, eliminates that burrowing in those sections of the fence there. So really just working on the engineering scope of work at this time, just based on the feedback received from the airport, MassDOT, FAA during that scoping meeting. Once the scope of work is finalized, the airport will have to go out for an independent fee estimate, basically to have a third party review the scope of work and determine what they feel their estimate of the project cost would be. And then the Airport Commission can compare Gale's fee to the independent estimator, and, contract negotiations can take place from there.
Would that program plan include protection of the fence on the Crawford Street side from errant motorists?
That doesn't. But can you ask that question when we're finished? because
Yes.
I think we've answered it as we go through the agenda.
Wonderful.
Okay?
You know, and really just in the preliminary, you know, planning, scoping phases of this project, but happy to take any questions you might have about the project back to the office if there are any. Okay, hearing.
Can I just make a comment again?
You may,
Sorry.
of course you may.
You know where we're planning to put the new 30T hangers and the 2-box hangers?
Yep.
That fence that comes down off Cobbler Drive,
Yep.
it's a horrible fence at the moment. That's what we open up when we have the
Yes.
wings and wheels. That is also going to be a badged entrance, electronic.
Oh.
So that's going to go in there. We'll get a brand-new set of gates and sliders at the SRE building.
Cool.
So it's going to be really nice.
That's
really
great.
nice.
Is that new gate a slider or a double swing?
It's a slider.
Okay.
It's going to be a slider with a badge entrance, electronic.
Awesome.
So
Yeah, so to include new fencing, fencing repairs, upgrades, all sorts of things.
Because I knew that gate by the SRE has been very finicky. over
it's
the
given us problems.
Yeah.
But it's old. It's been in a long time.
years.
We had the gate open about 2 weeks ago because it actually jumped. There's adjusters on the main unit. So as it goes one way, it comes up and there's an adjuster on it and it hits a button and the button's a cut-off switch, so the gate stops. So it had actually moved too far, so when it came this way again, it didn't move, so the gate stayed open. So we had to go in and reset it again. So, but we've got good people down there now and they've all been trained in that, so it's good.
Good.
We get to it pretty quickly.
Great.
So, sorry, Jack.
No problem, no problem. The last item I have on the agenda is the Medstar legal. So that has been finalized, completed, and we're just preparing the request for reimbursement on that project to FAA and Mass DOT. So we expect that to all be submitted in short order. Questions, comments,
Excellent. Thank you.
anything
No.
else for Gale?
No, Jackie, thank you.
Thank you all.
Great.
Thank you,
Good job,
Jackie.
Jackie.
Of
Thank
course, you're welcome.
Didn't realize we had so many little critters coming into our airport.
Oh, there's a little
You
Chris.
know?
Seen about
I'm
this.
anxious to see that report. I'd like to know who's coming to visit.
There's plenty of them.
Oh, you
Coyotes,
guys get to see it all the time,
coyotes particularly.
you know? Okay, moving on. We're going to get into new business. First order is the VASI lights.
Yeah, VASI lights. That actually stands for Visual Approach Slope Indicator. So when the plane's coming in, it'll tell you if you're too low because the lights will go red. If you're too high, it just stays white until you get into the actual correct approach. I have been talking to a gentleman named Gerald Farwell, and he actually owns an airport in New Hampshire, in Brookline. It's November Hotel 16. You've most probably been in there, Paul, but not in your plane, in a smaller plane.
I've driven past
Because
it
it's a
recently,
small-
actually.
Oh, right. You drove past? Or
Yes.
you flew in?
I drove past
Yeah,
it.
right. So he actually knew that we closed down 220, and we also had a new runway lighting system and taxiway system that use LED lights. So the old lights that were taken out are VASI lights.
The old blue
And,
ones.
yeah, well, they're blue and white. White for the runway, blue
Right.
for the taxiway.
Right.
And he wants the actual VASI itself, and that's a system of about 8 lights. They go across either side at both ends of the runway because they don't have there, and to land at Brookline, it's very difficult at night. So he's offered us $100 for those lights. We can never use them again, and my question to the Commission is, can I go ahead and sell these to him? It just needs a vote, and then I'll put it to Mary Delaney and get her approval in procurement. Nobody else can use them. They're old, they're outdated.
It's the whole assembly, not just the lights, right?
Oh, yeah, it's the assembly. It's the assembly.
And it's a pair of them.
Yeah.
You know, somebody would give you $500 for their man cave for those. You put them on
You
eBay.
tell me where to go.
I think if they were repurposed at another airport, that's a better choice.
I think it is too. You know, in all honesty, keep it in the aviation.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, You want to make a vote and see if we can do that? Or?
I'd make
Do I
a
have a
motion that we sell the old VASI assembly to the Brookline, New Hampshire airport for the price of $100.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just to let you know, the new ones we've got at the airport, they're not called VASIs, they're called PAPIs,
They're
which is
precision.
Precision Approach Path Indicator. They do the same thing, basically, but it's
Okay.
a more updated system, and we have terrible problems with replacing the bulbs all the time.
No, and someone could use the technology, it may be old.
They can.
That's great.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Are we going to execute some sort of disclaimer with the sale that we are not liable whatsoever for their installation or repurposing?
Oh, yeah,
In case they go out.
yeah.
Well, in case they're misinstalled, because the angle of the lights determines the glide path. that
Taken
it's on.
as is. Taken
Yeah,
as is.
is, you're right.
Yeah, good.
Perfect.
I remember the FAA was doing flights to verify the installation of the new ones.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because it tells you essentially whether you're on glide path at 3 degrees or
Yeah.
3.5 degrees.
No, let him repurpose them. Okay, second was terrain tower, terrain tower lights?
Yes. Terrain tower lights. Around the airport, there's, I believe, 11 lights on poles on the sides of the valley, not down where the airport is.
Yeah.
So maybe there's one above where you actually reside, because that's an approach path straight down onto 1-4. So these lights, approximately 3 or 4 years ago, the FAA were discussing with us that they're thinking of taking these lights away, because all aircraft today have the appropriate terrain identification systems within their, the new panels, the electric panels. So I was out of the office talking to one of the FBOs, and my assistant received a telephone call, and she wrote to me. She said, "Good morning, Peter. I received a call from Robert Barry, who would like to speak with someone about a tower light for guiding planes that was put up in Leominster that has not been working for over a year. He said he would like it taken down if it's not going to get fixed up." He provided the address, 191 Cross Street, Lunenburg, Mass, for reference, and would like a call back. So I called him back and I said, "I'm coming up." So went up and had a look. And this light, if you've been into the admin building, the little big red one we've got standing on the actual pedestal?
Oh.
It's one of those.
Wow.
It's 70 feet up on a pole. And to get up there, there's this pole that starts off at this diameter and goes down to a pole about this diameter, and there's these spars coming off about every foot, going all the way up. Well, I'm not climbing up there to put a bulb in, I'll tell you. So I spoke with the FAA, and we have to do fill in a special form, a 7460, which identifies exactly the location of where it is, how high it is, what the terrain's like, and what it's doing. Because, as I said, about 2 or 3 years ago, they were thinking of taking them away. So if we can have it removed, it's going to cost money to take it away, but it's also going to cost over $1,000 just to get a bulb up there and put it in.
It's our responsibility?
So, yeah, it is. They're our lights. They're protecting the pilots that fly into our airport. So it's all in hand. I'm dealing with the FAA, and I'm waiting for a response from them.
Because when you're coming off of Oak Hill, coming into West Fitchburg, up between your property and mine, up on the hill, on Westminster Hill, there's a series of
There's
lights.
4 big ones.
Yeah.
They're not ours.
Those aren't terrain
No, they're
lights?
not ours.
Okay,
No,
all right.
they're actually
Standard FCC tower lights.
exactly.
Is it power?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention that, we may be either taking it down or repairing it. So just to keep you in the picture.
Is it necessary to repair?
Well, that's my question to the FAA.
Okay, so they're going to dictate policy on that.
But if we don't, yeah, they are. If we don't repair it, he'll want it taken down.
Yeah,
So either way, we've got to do something.
yeah.
So, and if we just replace the bulb, it's going to be $1,000. But to take it down, I think you may be looking at $4 to $5 grand, to be honest, because it's a 70-foot high pole. It's big.
You're going
It's
to
heavy.
need a crane.
You'll need,
unbolt it, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so right now it's in the field of the FAA.
It is.
It's very appropriate to lay this at their feet, because these obstacle lights determine the protected zone and approach minimums and all kinds of other esoteric things that, if you're not very, very careful, it might actually impact the legality of the approach and the approaches into the airport, which Peter's worked so hard to get lower, which makes the airport much more viable in instrument weather in the winter. So you'd be treated with caution.
Yeah.
How many of these lights are we responsible
There's
for?
about 11.
Oh, there's 11 lights.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I've got a report from Gale that was completed about 12 years ago of all of them.
They put in.
Matt sent me that this week.
Yeah, I know we've had this issue at another airport as well, and this very, very similar situation with the terrain penetration
Right.
beacons. Actually, we did get a determination at this airport, and the poles themselves were determined to be hazards. And so now, so that's exactly the situation.
Oh, good.
So now we're working with the FAA to get some answers on, what does the airport do with these
Right.
lights now? Is there funding available to assist with this? We've unfortunately to date been indicated that there may not be. So we're trying to work through these issues, but everything's kind of up in the air right now, so I don't want to give you any bad information, but we're definitely working our way through, and it's an issue that New England region has, let us know that it's a new issue, and again, kind of with the airport we're working with and with Fitchburg, like a first of its kind sort of situation. So we're just working through
Right.
the region to figure out what the best path is for each airport. And each airport's unique.
It would be great if there was some grant money available to take them out. I mean, obviously, they're an artifact of the 1950s where ground-based non-precision approaches had a lateral error, an acceptable error of hundreds of feet. And, if your needles weren't completely tuned by the radio shop correctly, you could be up to a half or a quarter mile left or right of the localizer or the inbound course. Today, with LPV and WAS, they're an anachronism largely. Anybody flying that low is more likely to hit the pole than see the light.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're that far from the airport at that altitude, you have other problems.
It's 1.5 miles away from the airport.
Think about that.
Yeah.
So I agree that they're more of a hazard and a nuisance. But if there was grant money to remove them or recycle them or something like that, that would be huge. Yeah.
I personally think that they'll come back saying, no, take it down, because it's 1.5 miles away from the airport, and it's at the middle of 3214 over here in Lunenburg.
It's funny, huh?
It's more of a hazard to the pattern people, I think.
Yeah.
So
Right.
but I think they'll tell us to take it down.
Fascinating.
So the other ones we have to monitor, obviously, to make sure they're functioning properly?
Yeah, we have to. Yeah, we pay for them.
All right.
So
It's
it's only
usually
one-
around about 10 to 11.
No, it's only one that's currently not working.
We believe so at the moment.
Okay.
But we don't go around and monitor them. All I know is that we're paying electricity every month. So
It's probably a good indication they're working if we get a bill
exactly.
for each site.
Exactly. So, okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
That might be interesting to do a little vehicular audit of those. Do you have a list of them? Might drive around one night.
Certainly do.
I was just going to say, maybe the pilots, as they're flying around, they can kind of,
They're concentrating on other things. They don't want to look down at lights.
well, they should be looking all around. I'm not a pilot, but
No, you look at the runway when you're coming in.
No, it'd be interesting just to drive up wherever they
Better.
are. Yeah.
yeah,
Better, definitely.
okay.
Get that Jeep out, Rich. And
I was just going to say, give me that list of light locations, and I'm going to make that one of my issues of taking care of this week. All right, thank you, Peter.
welcome.
All right, let's move into old business. The RFP for non-aviation land lease, we're moving on that.
At the last meeting, you'll remember that I said we were waiting for the actual written contract agreement that's going to go out with the RFP. The agreement has been received from Lead, and it's currently with our chairman being looked at.
Okay.
So
That was from the legal side we were waiting
Exactly.
for. All right.
This is for the use of which property?
This is for the restaurant.
Okay, and we have an interested party, is that correct?
We thought we had about 5, but at the last time it was sent out, because it was sent out in, what's the word, with every single thing else. Like,
Shotgun approach, yeah.
You know, the 12.2 acres, the 4.3 acres.
Oh.
It just got
Got
overlooked.
lost in the, yeah,
So we've now taken that out of the old RFP and we're putting it out on its own.
got it.
We think we'll get a better
That was
interest.
the
So
smart
it's been
move.
reviewed, it hasn't been sent out yet?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it has to be individualized.
Right.
Yep. Okay. Item B, the minimum standards. We're going to table that, and we're going to wait for our chairman to return so he can act properly on that. We'll go to our next item, the Crawford Street safety update. We got a good update from last month from
We have.
DPW Commissioner, so
Yes, I actually spoke to Nick today on the phone, and he also mentioned it tonight. The Chapter 90 has been approved. We have grants of like $6 million for roads, and within that grant, there is the guardrails for Crawford Street. And I requested from him if he could please get it done prior to winter, because if you're trying to put a guardrail up in winter when the ground's hard, etc., and it's not good if the snow down there, if we could get it put before, the winter, it would be really great, and he's working on that in consultation with everybody else, obviously, for the roads in the city.
That's
We had-
fantastic.
we had talked about, when he gave his presentation, there's 2 curves that he's
Yes.
concerned about, that
Yep.
is where the issues are.
I know them
And
well.
at first, he was saying that possibly the monies would only carry that first curve. Did he say that he had enough money to do both those sections?
He told me that the money is there to do the safety aspects of Crawford Street.
All right. Well,
So-
we considered both of those curves, so both those bends were the issue. But then he said, well, he knew that the first curve was the most hazard. He says, we're going to address that first. But there is a second one. And then he said, we're going to work at getting that if that Chapter 90 came in. So I was just curious if he's going to follow through on the whole correction of that.
I believe he is, from
Okay,
what he
good.
told me.
All right.
So,
All right, we'll only hope. Okay. Item D, the Rocking Horse Enterprises.
if you remember the last meeting we had, I actually gave you 3 different versions of how the T-hangers and the box hangers are going to go. Well, since that time, we've had meetings with the FAA and MassDOT. Well, not meetings. We sent out documents to say this is what we'd like to do, and as a principle, can we go ahead and do it? Because we didn't want to go ahead with Rocking Horse Enterprises, and the FAA and MassDOT say no, we don't like it like that. Move it over here or change the angle or whatever. So on these new T-hangers, we've gone with the direction of the hangar southeast. So as the sun rises, the sun will catch it in the morning, and as sun sets, it'll catch it in the afternoon. So instead of having the north-facing hangar like we currently have, Paul, and you have one of those,
I do indeed.
and you know what they're like in the winter, unless you have a heated hangar, they can be very difficult to get the doors open. They stick, and it's like an ice skating ring in front.
Yep.
So by moving them around to be at 90 degrees to the current ones, we'll get sun on both doors. And spoke with them today. Last letter went out from myself today saying this is what we want to do, and I said please give us some dates that we could have a meeting, and Owen Silbauer came back with about 7 different times and dates. Half of those were only a half an hour, which I don't consider long enough.
Yeah.
And I identified 3 particular ones that are an hour and a half long, that we can talk to them about it and get a feeling that yes, you can go ahead on this design, and then the true site plan can be done by the engineering company, which is Rocking Horse Enterprises.
Yeah, that's on hold right now.
It's going forward. I mean,
Okay.
we're just waiting for the meeting, and it's next week. It's either
All right.
next Tuesday, the 24th, the 25th, the 26th, or the 27th.
And wasn't there something with Gale that they were working on?
Gale we put Rocky Horse Enterprises into contact with Gale, and they had meetings, and we got a quotation from Gale, and Rocky Horse Enterprises said that he thought the cost was too high for the company if we're going to charge $110,000 per hangar. So he's now got companies that he's worked with before that do have aviation industry knowledge, and he's working with them to do the surveying only.
Okay.
So once that's done, the big thing is to get it approved by FAA and Medstar, because it's pointless doing the survey if they say no. So,
Yeah, so conceptual approval.
right.
And then, so assuming, fast forwarding, that MassDOT and FAA are fine with it, we would then have some kind of preliminary site plan review as a
Absolutely.
commission? Yep.
And that'll come to us first.
Right.
So,
So FAA approval, and then Rocking Horse will submit their plans, because that's in the works now.
right.
And then we make a decision on,
Well, it's not FAA approval, it's an approval for the concept only. And then it will come to us to
Yep.
say, yes, okay, you know, we like the site plan.
Yep.
Once you've approved it, it'll go back to the FAA and MassDOT to get their approval. And then it'll go to the City Council and Planning Board.
right, okay.
So,
So we're out, we can possibly get this finalized before the end of the year?
maybe we'll get the principle finalised, but there won't be any starting on it, I don't think.
No,
until,
just,
You know,
you're not going to start this kind of construction in the wintertime anyways, but we'll have all our ducks in a row, so when springtime comes, money's allocated, plans are drawn, permits are all signed off, we can say, good, let's go.
no money allocated. Remember, this is a company that's put it
He's-
to us,
Yeah.
right? And
He's
in the first
financing it.
instance, what they're
Right.
going to do is ask for a deposit of 10%, approximately. So there's already, out of the 26 people that are interested, out of the 30 hangars, we've got 26 people interested. So he's got the initial money as I think, as an actual statement that that person wants it. If people don't want to give the initial deposit, then they're not interested in having the hangar.
Right, okay.
So,
And does the city require a completion bond payment or some money up front from them to begin moving dirt?
I believe they will do going
Yeah.
forwards,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Because there will be a completion date as well that has to be worked to.
Right.
So, you're correct.
Yep.
Any questions? Any more? We're good?
No,
Okay. The last item, the after-hour bathroom facility, we're going to also wait. We're going to table that. We're going to wait for,
I've been waiting to go to the bathroom now for 6 months on this.
he asked to hold off on it till he returns. Hopefully, he'll be here next month to
Is there some
work that in for the
amazing
pilots. They're
piece
just
of
gonna have to-
information that only the commissioner has, or can I ask why?
I would move it forward, and I'm going to talk to him that if
'Cause I
he's
think
not
that-
going to be here
We need to move forward.
next
Yeah,
month, we'll move it forward. I'll guarantee that.
at least discuss what.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know what the dealings are. All he did was ask me to hold off on it. So, but I could
As a
understand.
point of
No,
order.
I understand.
So as a point of order, though, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, the minimum standards we're doing May, and I totally want Rich to get better and get back here.
Yeah,
but,
that's a
you know,
bigger issue.
we have a quorum, we are a commission, we're
Yeah.
not an individual. And so as a point of order, I would suggest that
Yeah.
those two items need to move forward.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, the after-hour bathroom facility, and
Sure.
it involves a bigger group too, so, yeah, we want to kind of put that.
I can assure you, after my chat with Commissioner Raymond yesterday, he will be at the November 20th meeting.
Awesome.
Good,
That's good to hear.
Okay?
that's very positive. All right. All righty, good. Financial review, approval of commitments and abatements. Was there anything?
Nothing.
No, none. And there is no executive session. And our next meeting
Can
will
I
be
bring up
November
one item,
20th.
one quickly?
Sure. yeah.
Peter, Building 18, the office furniture that's been outside now.
Is it still there?
Oh, yeah.
I'll speak to him again.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Anything else?
Write that down, Paul. Hold on a minute.
All right, so we will return for our next meeting, November 20th, and with the hopes that our chairman will be back, and we'll move forward on a couple issues that we've held back on. If there's nothing else,
When was our next meeting? I'm sorry, the 20th?
on the 20th, yeah. And if we have nothing else, I move that we adjourn this meeting
I would second the
at
motion to adjourn.
6:41.
Well, that's record time.
We're going to close this.